Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, my name is Adam Sandler, and welcome to So Sandlerous, the Sandman movie podcast. A gabagoo.
Did you just fucking dab as well?
No, I didn't dab.
Yeah, I swear to God, you like coughed and just went.
Oh, no, I didn't dab. Oh. Hello and welcome back to So Sandlerous, the Sandman movie podcast, a podcast where we discuss the movies of famed circus clown Adam Sandler. My name is Kerry John Jones, and as always, I am joined by my dearest friend and co-host, Matt Wilstonholme.
Happy to be back this week, guys. How are we all going? I know you're probably doing better than us since we had to watch this movie.
Yeah, so...
But there's some redeeming qualities here. I didn't mind this one.
It's another week of a kind of a shitty movie, but it's not as bad as what it was last week. Before we start, a couple of good pieces of good news. Matt, this morning we hit 80 individual listeners somehow.
No way. Let's fucking go. Thank you everybody for listening. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, 80 individual listeners over 2 episodes, and
I'll take that.
And we got a little fan through last week's episode, which was Dan Povermeyer.
Shout out to Dan Povermeyer for replying.
we put up a video online, and then Dan Povermeyer replied to us, and we asked him if he was this character in the background, and he basically ripped into us for being wrong, even though we were right. Just didn't send him over the full clip. But yeah, thank you, Dan Povermeyer, co-creator of Phineas and Ferb, for replying to one of our videos, I guess. But yeah,
it was. Didn't expect it, so yeah,
no.
take that all day long.
And I think we should start pretty much straight away again, because I was speaking to one of my friends this week, and he was like, I started listening to the first episode, but it took you 50 fucking minutes to start talking about Adam Sandler.
Yeah, we definitely went a bit too overboard on the first one.
But yeah, should we just start?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get into Shakes the Clown, eh?
This week's movie is Shakes the Clown, as Matt just said.
If you're looking for two-fisted action,
I know karate. Well, I know the Vulcan nerve pinch.
high drama,
Hey, wait a minute. You clowns are on dope.
and forbidden romance, you might want to look somewhere else.
What's your name?
Shakes the clown.
Oh, my head.
You're not funny, clown.
Kid, you blow that horn one more time, I'm gonna shove it right up your...
Everybody loves a clown, so why don't I?
Mom, who's the naked clown in our bathroom?
Your total disregard for the clown code of ethics would make your poor father Lippy turn over in his grave. Oh, and Shakes,
Yeah,
take a bath, will you?
yeah.
Oh, really scary.
Guys like that, you know? They give clowns a bad name.
When's the last time a film's made you feel this good, huh?
You spit it out. No, I didn't. I saw you. No, it was yummy.
Hubba, Julie Brown.
Leave me alone, milkman scum.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Here I come! Ready or not!
In the Citizen Kane of alcoholic clown movies.
What a morning.
Shakes the Clown.
Had enough?
Shakes the Clown is a 1991 American black comedy film directed and written by Bobcat Goldthwait, who performs the title role of Shakes. It also features Julie Brown, Blake Clark, Paul Dooley, Kathy Griffin, Tom Kenny, Adam Sandler, Scott Herriott, LaWanda Page, and Jack Gallagher. Right, Matt, our very famous first segment is a segment we like to call Curb That Blurb. So what I have done is I have gone to the internet to find a blurb for this movie, and I want you to tell me if you would curb that blurb. And by curb, I mean if you don't like the plotline, you take it outside, make it bite the pavement, and kick it in the back of the head. If it is a good synopsis, we just let it go freely. Okay, you ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
Mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck is disregarded and mistreated by society. He then embarks on a downward spiral of revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his alter ego, the Joker.
You bastard. Why? Why? You motherfucker. I was sat there thinking, wait a minute, Arthur Fleck? Where the fuck has this come from?
Okay.
He's off on the rails, he's off the rails. Oh god, we snuck a Joker reference in there. Fucking love it.
This is basically crap Joker.
It kinda, yeah.
I mean, it ends in exactly the same way. Basic,
Does it?
yeah, murder on a TV set.
I was gonna say, we have very different memories of how that film ended.
Okay, yeah, no, proper one now.
You son of a bitch.
Shakes plods around his duties as a party clown and uses all of his free time getting seriously drunk. Binky, another clown, wins the spot on a local kiddies show, which depresses Shakes even more, and his boss threatens him with unemployment if he can't get his act under control. When someone murders Shakes' boss and makes it look like Shakes did it, he goes undercover, posing as a hated mime, and tries to find information that will clear his name.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah?
Fucking curb stomp it.
Yeah. That doesn't really give you much. That gives you the last, what, half hour?
The only bit of this movie with some plot, the last half an hour.
Yeah. So what? We're gonna curb stomp that plot?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, Matt, what did you originally think of this film? Did you think it was okay, or?
This was the most, like, middling movie that we've watched so far. Like, I was probably a bit too harsh on Billy Madison that first week, considering what the two movies we've watched after. But this is, like, nothing happened for an hour.
No.
Like, there was some good bits, there's some funny bits in this, don't get me wrong. Like, there's actually some hilarious parts of this movie, but nothing happened for an hour.
Yeah, completely agree. And other people online have opinions as well. Famed critic Roger Ebert, who famously gives 4 stars instead of 5, he gave this movie a 2 out of 4. He says, the movie plays like a series of scene outlines, ideas for how the movie should progress, that needed more writing and revision before the actors were called in. And I think that's pretty much on par with what we're saying. It is just a series of scenes that just need work until...
Yeah, this movie could have benefited from being at least 20 minutes longer.
Oh, don't say that.
I just mean, some of the scenes would have been good if they were a bit more fleshed out and, like... Yeah, it was just kind of like you just threw something in there for like a minute that added nothing.
Yeah. I think this film could have done with a script rewrite before.
Oh, absolutely.
Just some streamlining, especially on the start. And I've got a couple of user reviews here as well from Letterboxd. Radek Latros says, a less funny Joker 2019, half a star, which is where I got my Joker idea from earlier. And then Corey Cochran gives it a 5 stars and says, almost 30 years since the release of Shakes the Clown, still wears the crown as the Citizen Kane of alcoholic clown movies. And apparently...
Can't argue with that.
Martin Scorsese is the one that attributed that accolade to this movie. He said this is the Citizen Kane of alcoholic clown movies. And then
I can't think of another alcoholic clown movie off the top of my head there. No.
Joker.
Kinda.
And then Kyle T gives this movie 5 stars as well. And he says, there's no way this movie deserves 5 stars, but fuck it.
Yeah, alright, fuck 'em.
Yeah.
I like it.
Which is fair enough. And so, Matt, with these reviews from audiences and critics, what do you think this movie got on the Splatometer and Rotten Tomatoes?
Critics first, then the audience?
Yeah, critics first.
This kind of done well with critics. Like, definitely better than last week, but
Last week
30 odd.
Last week was 0, and this is
43%
of critics gave this film a positive
43.
review. And what about audience?
Yeah, all right. Audience, it's always usually higher, but not much higher for this, surely. Oh god, I'm gonna guess like 50 plus, 60.
49%.
Oh fucking hell!
Yeah.
All right.
So
Nice.
critics and audience tend to be on the same page when it comes to this movie. So Matt, how do you want to do this? Do you want us to go through our notes like we've been doing, or do you just want me to read the plot from IMDb?
My notes in this are very few and far between because there's just not a lot to make notes on. So probably better if we go through the plot.
Okay, I'll read from IMDb and just cut in when you want to, and
Yeah.
we'll just add our own stuff. Right, okay. In the fictional town of Palookasville, Shakes, played by Bobcat Goldthwait, is a good-natured but depressed alcoholic birthday clown. After his father dies, Shakes was risen by his father's friend, Owen Cheese, played by Paul Dooley, who gives Shakes his job as a clown and owns the local clown bar, the Twisted Balloon. Shakes is excited because he puts in an application to be the host of a children's clown show on television called Big Time Cartoon Circus, after its original host, Peppy, played by Sidney Lasky, was fired. Apparently,
We don't see that in the movie.
yeah, we do. We see it on.
No, we see him. We see his last thing, but do we see him applying?
Oh no, we see Peppy's last show, and then and then one of the clowns in the bar is like, "That guy's gonna fuck his dog."
So I've got some trivia about that later on, but that was one of the wildest things about this movie. Just this random clown lady. Just as soon as he goes off screen, he's gonna fuck that dog. Like what?
Yeah.
The fuck?
So at the Twisted Balloon, we're watching
Jesus.
We're watching this last show of this clown, and we're introduced to Sandler and Blake's Clark character.
Whoa, I think we've missed a very key part of this movie.
Have I? I don't know.
Yeah, the opening scene, he gets pissed on immediately. He's just passed out in this one-night stand lady's bathroom, and her kid walks in and takes a piss over him and just splatters everywhere.
Oh.
And then as he leaves, he fully James Bonds it. And he's like, she asks him, what's your name? And he's like, Shakes the clown. Iconic.
I've got plot points here. Should we just go through those instead of IMDb then?
Fucking hell.
Okay,
Sure.
yeah. We're moving up on a pretty rundown flat. Dog eating leftover pizza. A woman sleeping on the sofa, and a kid's taking a piss on a clown who's passed out in the bathroom.
Unreal.
See? Yeah, this one.
Pretty much the only bit of this movie I can remember.
Yeah, this woman's one of the Brady Bunch. Like, she was in all the Brady Bunch TV shows, movies, and cartoons as a kid, and now she's reduced to a bit part of a one-night stand in a clown movie.
Lusting after a horrible clown.
Yeah, and then Shakes tries to connect to the kids over magic trick, but the kid doesn't care. And then he realizes that he's late to this birthday party, so he's got to rush off. And then Shakes goes to leave and hook up, asks will she ever see him again, and that's the name and said, I'm Shakes the clown. And then a cigar blows up in his face.
Classic.
And then, yeah, he goes to the party. He fights with the gas station owner. He fights with his dad, and he's like, I'm going to twist your head into a fucking balloon animal.
Just turns up at the party and immediately, like, he's late as fuck and just assaults the dad.
And then, yeah, Then we change.
We get a great scene at the gas station though of him putting his makeup on. And in fairness, it's actually some pretty fucking good clown.
It is
makeup.
good clown makeup. And then in the gas station he gets into a fight as well. So he gets into a fight twice in like 5 minutes. And then we change location to the Twisted Balloon, and we're introduced to Sandler and who plays Dink, and Blake Clark, who plays Stenchy. If people don't know who Blake Clark is, he's the dad in 50 First Dates, and he's now Slinky Dog in Toy Story after the original Slinky Dog died. But he's in a load of Sandler movies.
Yeah, he's in quite a lot.
Yeah, him and Sandler are pretty good friends. And then they're talking about this clown retiring on TV and say that Shakes has applied for the job and Shakes might get the job. And then they're like, oh, if Shakes goes on TV, we'll get a lot of babes. And then we cut to this other clown. And she goes, everyone on TV got a lot of pussy. Weathermen get a lot of pussy. And then, this other clown goes like, weathermen don't get the kind of pussy I get. I get peanut butter pussy. Brown, smooth, and easy to spread.
Incredible line. I really rated that, but...
And then back at the party, Shakes is just doing acrobats like Black Widow, and he's just doing a bunch of magic tricks and juggling tricks and...
Yeah, I was going to say, considering he's just a complete degenerate in this movie, he was a pretty good fucking clown at that birthday party.
Yeah.
That was mint.
He was fantastic.
That was sick as fuck.
And then we're introduced to Shakes' girlfriend Judy, who has the most annoying voice in the world.
Oh yeah, that was... I don't know if that's her actual voice though. I was going to look this up, but I just couldn't be fucked. But
I don't know if...
I was like, does she speak like this in every movie, or is that just...
I don't know if that's put on. And her friend, played by Kathy Griffin. And Judy's an aspiring professional bowler or something. And Kathy Griffin's character wants to be a chef.
Something like that.
Yeah.
One of them's definitely a bowler.
Yeah. And they're just having a conversation about Shakes being an alcoholic and the problem that is causing in Judy and Shakes' relationship.
That's pretty much the only theme of this movie.
Yeah, Shakes an alcoholic clown and he causes problems for everybody else.
Pretty much. I've just got as a plot note here, the greasiest slice of pizza that's ever been seen.
Yeah.
It's fucking gross.
And then I've got a note as well, because they're back in a bar, and clowns in the bar watching Uncle Pepe's last show, waiting to see who the new host is. Pepe fucks dogs, apparently.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
And then the new host is announced as Binky the Clown, not Shakes. And Binky is played by Tom Kenny, and he's the Arthur Fleck of this movie. He's an absolute psychopath.
He genuinely is a psycho in this.
Yep. And then Sandler's character, Dink, they're upset that they won't be on TV, and they're worried that they'll never get laid, which seems to be a common theme with early Sandler movies.
Yeah, it's just them trying to get laid.
Yeah, we had him being sad last week that he doesn't get laid, and again, sad this week that he doesn't get laid. And then...
Tune in next week for when Adam Sandler's upset that he can't get laid in a movie.
And then Binky the evil clown is trying to flirt with Shakes' girlfriend, but she's not interested because she's in love with Shakes. And then Binky's clown mates laugh at Binky for failing. And then Binky just smacks them in the nuts. He's like... Yeah,
that was so weird. He does crotch shots, both of them.
Yeah, he's like, put your hands up. And then he just smacks them in the nuts. And then Stenchy, which is Blake Clark, is telling Sandler, who's Dink, that he needs to be more confident with women, and tells him to go to talk to Judy. So he goes up and just stands next to her and asks her the time. And then he waits there for like 5 minutes.
Classic.
Yep.
That doesn't get you in nothing, Will.
Nope. And then Shakes comes to the bar, and then him and Judy are arguing about where Shakes was last night, and I think they end up breaking up. She's like, if you want to go and cheat and whatever, go do it, but don't make me look like an idiot whilst doing so. So I think they break up.
For 5 minutes.
And then Shakes finds out that Binky's the new host of the show, and Shakes believes that part is his because Binky can't throw a pie straight, and is a piece of shit.
Proven later on in this movie.
Yeah.
Not the pie throwing, but he definitely is a piece of shit.
Then Binky and Shakes get into a fight, and Binky henchmen stop it, and then one of them goes, "The only show you can get is the unfunny diarrhea show."
Classic joke on the power of where did you get that suit? The toilet store. Love it. Absolutely unreal.
And then Judy's...
Fuck, there's not...
Oh, fucking hell. This is tough. And Judy's walking home and Shake sneaks up on her. They continue their argument, but Judy has no interest. And then they break up. And then Shake throws himself in front of a milk truck to get Judy's attention. And then the guy in the milk truck decides to hit on Judy as well, so she just walks off.
She shouts the line at him, "Leave me alone, milkman scum!"
Yep.
Brilliant.
I got that.
That was actually a highlight of this movie. What the fuck? Can we also talk about this? That Shakes the Clown has like the superhuman ability to jump, like 20 feet in the air.
I've written down here, is Shake supernatural with the way that he jumps? Question mark. And then Shake throws himself in front of a milk truck. Doesn't hurt. He's therefore supernatural.
Yeah, he's gotta be. Like, he's... Like, I'm not kidding when he... Like, later on in the movie, he jumps, like, genuinely 20, 30 feet in the air. Just for no reason.
He's Pennywise.
He literally... Yeah, he might as well be. It's fucking crazy. Just for no reason, though. It's never explained. No one ever just says anything about it.
And then, yeah, Shakes with his supernatural abilities throws himself in front of a milk truck. And then Judy says that line, "Leave me alone, milkman scum." Shakes is super depressed, so he's in the bar drinking all night long. And then next morning, Shakes wakes up with a phone call from Stenchy because he's late to a party or some event. Yeah. And then, as Shakes is driving to the event, he gets pulled over by these two police officer characters.
These are the most irrelevant characters in the movie.
Yeah, well, they try to pull him over, but they crash.
Yeah, there's like a car chase going on, and then...
Yeah, there's a car chase going on, they crash, and Shakes doesn't want to kill some ducks, so he stops the car.
Nice.
Introduced to Mr. Cheese. Oh, no, he does get arrested, apparently. Yeah, at the station we're introduced to Mr. Cheese, who's there to bail him out. So Mr. Cheese is the guy who adopted Shakes after his dad was killed. And then Mr. Cheese is upset because Shakes isn't following the clown code of ethics. And then we find out that Shakes' dad was a clown and that he was killed because an elephant was stomped on his head or something.
Fuck, I don't remember any of this part.
Yeah. And then Dink and Stenchy confront Shakes about his drinking problem and how it's affected his work. Shakes then pukes out of the back of the car and then opens a new beer. He offers a beer to Dink and Stenchy, and then they also start drinking. So Dink and Stenchy are like,
nice.
Shakes, drinking is ruining your life. We need to stop. You need to stop. It's ruining everything about you. And then they all just end up drinking together. And then we have a massive montage of these guys.
For a penny?
Of the three clowns driving around the city, just getting up to different shit. They go to a clown tailor's, and end up getting into a fight with him. And then we're introduced to one of the main conflicts of the movie because they see some mimes.
Goddamn mimes.
Yeah, they see some mimes in the park, and
I did rate this for no reason. They're clowns just fucking hate mimes, and they just go and beat the shit out of them in the park.
Yeah. So Dink, Stenchy, and Shakes go to beat up these three mimes in the park, and one of the mimes likes, "You only pick on us because we're artists." So yeah, there's a big conflict between between clowns and mimes in this movie, and where they stand on the level of art that they do. And then we're back in the bar. Mr. Cheese and Shakes are having a conversation about Shakes drinking, and says if he doesn't stop drinking and causing all these problems, he will be fired. Then Shakes tells this information to Stenchy and Dinky, and Shakes tells him he will stop drinking and the job. Stenchy starts laughing, as Stenchy's never seen him sober. So, yeah, Shakes is adamant that he's going to be sober for a while. And I think this lasts about 10 minutes. Yeah, so Stenchy says Dink and him will help Shakes with his sobriety and accompany him to parties to make sure he never drinks. On his rounds, Shakes is having withdrawals and flashbacks to Judy being alone at home and at the bar. At his first sober party, Shakes is really struggling with being sober. A kid's in Shakes' face saying he isn't funny and blowing a horn in his face. And then Shakes goes up.
Yeah, so he's having full alcohol like withdrawals at this party. Like actually, Shakes is getting the shakes like proper, and he's sweating, and it's just gross. And he just wants to fucking kill everyone. And then he just absolutely necks a bottle of rum.
Yep. Before necking the rum, he's up in this kid's face, and he's saying like, "Kid, you don't understand how pathetic it is that your parents have to pay me to be here to be with you. Like, you've got no friends. I've got to pretend to be a friend for this party, and I've got to keep you entertained because nobody likes you." And this kid's like 9. And then Stench and Dinky come in to grab the kids, like, "Oh yeah, let's play hide and seek. Shakes, you count." And then as Shakes is counting, he finds a bottle of rum and he just necks it. The alcohol goes straight to Shakes' head, and he just starts trashing the place. He's breaking shit, scaring kids, and having a proper breakdown.
Just absolutely loses his mind and starts smashing the whole house up.
Yep.
Out of nowhere. Just, alright, fuck them. Fuck all these people. Fuck you and your nice house.
And then, yeah, he completely ruins the place. And then the back of the bar, and Mr. Cheese fires Shakes. And then Shakes threatens to kill Mr. Cheese.
Yes.
And now, the plot of the movie starts.
This is genuinely like an hour in as well.
Yep. We're almost done with this movie. So, yeah. Shakes threatens to kill Mr. Cheese, and then he passes out. And then some rodeo clowns come into the bathroom and start fighting with Binky's henchmates. And then Binky's having a breakdown because he knows that everybody thinks he's a piece of shit. So Binky's mates are in the bathroom. Rodeo clowns come in, start a fight, and then Binky's back in the main bar trying to talk to people. And people aren't interested, so Binky has a bit of a big breakdown. And then Mr. Cheese is going around the bar trying to find Shakes so he can give him a second chance and apologise for overreacting earlier on. And then Mr. Cheese walks into these clowns in the bathroom, Binky's mates and the rodeo clowns, sniffing cocaine.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
I think they're all doing they're all doing coke in the back room.
And the way the clowns do blow is they tip it into their red nose, and then they stick their red nose on instead of sniffing it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and Mr. Cheese comes in and he's like, "You clowns are on dope!" And then Binky just attacks him with a juggling club.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just turns around with a fucking club and just beats him to death on the spot. Like, no questions asked. This movie just escalates completely.
Yeah, so Mr. Cheese is now dead because Binky's killed him, and then the rodeo clowns try to leave, and Binky's like, "You were here. You're sniffing blow. You're part of the crime now. This is as much your fault as it is my fault." And then the rodeo clowns decide to help cover up the murder, and the plan is to place the blame on Shakes for killing Mr. Cheese by pretending that there's been a fight. And then Binky pretends to be Mr. Cheese, and he calls the police saying that Shakes is trying to kill him. Yeah?
And yeah, the police come. Shakes wakes up just before we get there.
The Shakes were playing Candyland in the car, apparently. And then they're sent to the bar. And then, as they arrive, Shakes wakes up and realizes what's going on and decides to do a runner. Shakes drives off, and he crashes in.
At which point?
Oh, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
Go on, you go.
No, I was just going to say we get his superhuman abilities back at this stage.
Yeah.
Jumps on basically to the top of a fucking building to get away from the police.
And then after he does these leaps and bounds, he gets into his car and he crashes into the rodeo clown's car. And then they chase after him, and there's another car chase now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant.
The rodeo clowns tried to run Shakes off the road, and then they eventually run him off a cliff. And Shakes jumps out of the car as he tumbles down the hill, and then it explodes.
Shakes is maybe dead. We don't know. The rodeo clowns have left him there.
Yeah. And
And
then Shakes is trying to make it back to Judy's house. And then he makes it back, and then they're both worried about what's going to happen. So Shakes explains to Judy what's happened with Mr. Cheese. And like, oh, I'm worried about you, Shakes. We need to sort something out. And then Shakes decides to go undercover as a mime.
Yeah, no one would think to look for him as a mime. And then we get the best part of this movie.
Do you want to cover this?
Sure. So we get Shakes as a clown. Sorry, Shakes the clown as a mime. So he's fucking hating life with his mime. So they stick him in mime school or a mime class because no one's gonna find him there. And then we're introduced to the head of the mime class, and good old boy fucking Robin Williams. It's just easily the best part of this movie. We just get Robin Williams taking the absolute piss out of Shakes as a mime, getting him up to do all the like demonstrations and trying to sort everything out at the front of the class, and he's just fucking hating his life. And Robin Williams is just a sight for sore eyes in this movie. Let me fucking tell you.
I don't understand why he was in this film. He must have.
I don't know.
He must
either.
have been friends with Bobcat Goldthwait, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, gotta be.
And then, yeah. So, Shakes, changes his name to Chuck, and then Robin Williams is just running him through these, like, pretend you're a cat. He's just classic Robin Williams, just riffing and doing silly voices. And I'm guessing Binky is here that Shakes is missing or dead or whatever, because he goes to Judy's apartment to give her some flowers, and then he goes into great detail about how he killed Mr. Cheese.
For no reason, unpromptedly, just completely blurts out the truth and then decides to murder Judy.
And then, so Binky then takes Judy, and then cut back to the mime class, and Robin Williams makes fun of clowns, and Shakes get really sad. So he can tell that Shakes isn't a mime and he's actually a clown. And then Robin Williams calls Shakes a rodeo clown, and then it just clicks in Shakes' head that the rodeo clowns were at the bar at the night Mr. Cheese died. So it must have been the rodeo clowns who killed Mr. Cheese and then did a runner. And then then Shakes tries to ring Judy, but to tell her what's going on, but there's no answer because Binky had previously kidnapped Judy. And then
all this happens in the space of about 15 minutes as well. Like, this is blistering through pace, like, at the end of this movie. Like, they just tried to cram the whole movie in the last 30 minutes.
They tried to cram the whole plot of the movie in, 25 minutes?
That's all they did. They spent like 45 minutes to an hour doing nothing.
And, we cut to Stenchy and Dink walking down an alleyway, and like, oh man, I can't believe Shakes is a murderer, blah blah blah. And then Shakes shows up, and they're dressed as a mime, and they're even more obsessed that Shakes is a mime than what they were when they thought he was a murderer. And then
goddamn mimes.
And then Stenchy and Dink don't believe Shakes at first. They think he's a murderer, and then Shake asks about Judy, and Stenchy and Dink was like, oh, she didn't come to work, she's missing. And then the three of them like, let's go find her. So they go to her apartment and it's trashed, and then they're like, it's the rodeo clowns, right? Let's go to the rodeo bar. So they go to the rodeo bar, and the bouncers are like, nah, you're not coming in, and they get into a fight there again.
And then they see the clowns leave.
They see the truck,
the rodeo clowns,
and then they start chasing this truck. And then we cut to the studio, and Judy's tied up on Pinky's set, and she's dressed as a clown. She's going to make a TV debut now as part of the knife throwing trick. And then Shakes, Stinky, and Stenchy chase the rodeo clowns. Rodeo clowns are pointing guns at Shakes, and Shakes and his friends, and then Shakes stops the guns by throwing a pie at them. Then the rodeo clowns crash the car, and then Shakes interrogates them to find out where Judy is. They have no idea who Judy is, and they tell Shakes that it was Binky who killed Mr. Cheese, not them. Yeah?
Yeah, and then we just get a scene like 2 minutes later of the police turning up and arresting the rodeo clowns because they know it's not Binky anymore, or they know it's not Shakes anymore. So because they've confessed to him, so they arrest these rodeo clowns, and that's the last of the end. That's the last you see of the police, and the last you see of the fucking them as well. Oh God!
And then Shakes, Dink, and Stenchy then decide to go after Binky. Binky's first show is a shit show, and the kids don't care. Like, he can't get them invested at all. And then Shakes, Stinky, and Stenchy arrive at the studio, and they're met by Binky's henchmen. And then cut back to live broadcast, and Binky introduced Judy as a clown, and she's going to be part of the throw knife trick. And then I said he's probably going to murder her this way, probably. And then the henchmen are forcing Shakes, Dink, and Stenchy into the trunk of the car, and Shakes gets shot. But never mind, because the classic...
He's got his trusty old hip flask.
Yeah, classic trope of something blocking a bullet comes into play.
Talk about a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
Hey, great line. That's the line from the movie. That's actually fit the bill. I'll give him that one.
So he's saved by his hip flask. And then the three arrive at the studio and save Judy from knives being thrown by Binky. And Binky's complaining about how horny he is. Apparently he doesn't get laid, so maybe that's why he's doing all of this. And then the clowns start fighting, and the kids are finally enjoying the show. And then we get the shot of the applause button going on and off, on and off. And as it goes on and off, the kids are clapping, then they're not clapping, then they're clapping, then they're not clapping. And I think that's probably the funniest part of the whole movie.
It's not got some great competition.
I got 5 things left. Binky's kicking the shit into Shakes, but professional bowler Judy saves him by bowling a ball into Binky's head.
I rated that. They just get a vase, a ball-shaped vase, and the bowling ball actually does something in this movie.
And then Shakes and Judy make up. Binky is arrested. And then we just cut to Shakes being in an AA meeting, getting the help that he needs. Judy's friend is on TV as a chef. And then the final shot of the whole movie is Shakes, Stinky, Stench, and Robin Williams, the Mime. They have their own show. The end.
Nice. Fucking hell. Nothing happened in that film.
What an absolute...
Absolutely nothing.
What an absolute nothing movie.
Like, it's weird because, like, last week it was, like, shit. Like, nothing happened, but it was, like, terribly bad. Whereas this, like, nothing happened, but this could have been alright.
This could have been decent.
Yeah. This, like, this is just, like, missed opportunities. Like, this could have been a semi-decent movie, but there's just, like, there's too much and not enough at the same time.
The first act was incredibly long, and then the third act was so short that they crammed everything in, but nothing happened in the third act anyway because they didn't have time to develop it.
No, it was just everything's just done at a rapid pace. In the end, when it should have been more spread out.
Well,
Yeah.
I've watched this movie before, and I sent you a picture the other day. I watched the last 15 minutes in 300% speed,
Yeah.
and I didn't miss anything.
There's nothing to miss. Like, if you could leave this movie for like 20 minutes, come back to it.
And
Like, you could go and like make some food, come back, and you wouldn't have missed anything.
no, but you at the same time you would have missed 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah. I know it doesn't really make sense, but if you watch this movie, you'll understand.
Oh, it was such a nothing movie. Right, Matt.
We do have some good trivia though.
Box office. What do you think the budget of this movie was after watching it?
Ooh. It's definitely. I mean, it's a much higher budget than last week.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's at least like a few $1 million.
$1.4 million budget.
Okay.
How,
I could see that. Yeah.
how much
compared to $200,000 and on a boat?
How much money do you think it made at the box office, though?
Oh. Probably nothing. I can't imagine this movie did well.
$115,000 at the box office.
10% returns.
That's bad.
That's shocking.
Yeah. So, Matt,
Oh.
move on to trivia before we.
So we got some trivia from this. So we've got. So, the song "Binky and the Doormat" by R.E.M.
Yeah.
is named after Binky from this movie.
And the line, "I'm not Binky the Clown, I could be Binky the Doormat." The movie says at one point, Binky the Doormat.
Binky the Doormat, sorry, yeah, Binky the Doormat. And then so there's also a sample from this movie is used in the song Interloper by Slipknot. And I was like, what the fuck? So I gave this a listen. And it's just a Slipknot song, and then halfway in the middle of the song, it's the "fuck a dog" line. And I was just like, fucking brilliant, of course it is. Oh, fucking course it is.
As soon as the camera's off, he's gonna fuck that little dog.
It's so great. Well, fuck me. And then, obviously, we've got Tom Kenny in this movie. Yep. Tom Kenny, Binky the Clown, main antagonist. Fucking SpongeBob SquarePants himself. Fucking big dog. Fucking, like, one of the greatest voice actors of all time, Tom Kenny.
It's just...
in this nothing movie as a clown that drinks beer through a straw. Fucking hell. But yeah, Tom Kenny, SpongeBob SquarePants himself.
Yeah.
What a fucking legend.
There's a couple of big names in this movie. Early on.
There is.
What? Kathy Griffin. She's pretty big. Tom Kenny, obviously Adam
Yes! With all right, that's it now. He's Saddam from now on.
Adam Sandler, and then... But... Did you hear about this movie's premiere?
No.
Oh, so this movie premiered at a charity event. So all the money raised was going to some sort of charity. And halfway through the movie, like 50% of the audience just stood up and walked out.
I'm not surprised. That's fucking amazing.
Like, we can't deal with this movie, we're going. So they left.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, apart from that, I haven't got anything else. Do you?
There's not really, no, like, fucking hell.
This movie was nominated for Worst Picture at the 1991 Stinker Bad Movies Award, but lost to Nothing But Trouble. What's Nothing But Trouble?
Jesus, you've got me there. Let's have a
Nothing
look.
But Trouble is a 1991 American black comedy horror film directed by Dan Aykroyd. Oh, it's his first movie he ever directed.
What? Nice.
Based on a story by his brother.
No good, but...
Stars Chevy Chase and Demi Moore.
What the fuck is this movie?
And John Candy.
What?
Talk about Chevy Chase. I've been watching a lot of Community over the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Have you seen it before, or are you
No,
rerunning
first
it?
time.
Oh
Yeah.
really? What do you think?
I think season 4 was shit.
Fair enough.
But
I love Community.
It's so funny. It's very good. Yeah, and then last bit of trivia here. In an interview with Conan O'Brien, Goldthwait revealed that Martin Scorsese had defended the movie from detractors when a film critic decides the movie in order to make a point about good and bad movies. Scorsese reveals, "I like Chase the Clown. Haven't you heard? It's the Citizen Kane of alcoholic clown movies." So yeah, Scorsese's a fan, but not me.
Interesting. I'm sorry, I'm still looking at Nothing But Trouble, and it says Tupac Shakur made his acting debut in this movie. What the fuck?
Maybe we should have done Nothing But Trouble this week.
We probably should have done Nothing But Trouble.
Should we change this to a Dan Aykroyd themed podcast?
Just switch forth between weeks.
But yeah, this film's such a nothing movie. Right, moving on to our next segment. Let me get the scores up. Jesus Christ. Oh, come on. I should have got this up earlier on in reality. Oh well.
Nah, we're alright. We're gonna flesh this out a little bit. We've been going for 45 minutes. It's a shorter one this week, guys, but we just had nothing to talk about.
Oh, it's such a nothing film. Nothing happens all the way through.
I promise this podcast content will get better in the next couple of weeks.
So yeah, I don't think it will. Okay.
Bear with us, guys. We'll get there. We'll get to something good eventually. Fucking Adam Sandler.
Shakes the Clown. So, Matt, our classic and well-known podcast rating system is our sandbags out of 10, and what kind of floods could those sandbags stop? So, Matt, how many sandbags out of 10 would you give this movie? Bearing in mind you give Going Overboard, nothing last week.
I feel bad. I've given Billy Madison a 3.5,
3.5,
which,
yeah.
in hindsight, is maybe a bit too harsh. Because I want to give this something similar, but it's definitely not as good as Billy Madison. I'll give it a 2.
2?
2.2.
2.2.
2.2.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go something similar. Oh, I don't know if I can give it a 2 out of 5, 2 out of 10. Oh, sorry, Matt. What kind of flood could your 2.2 sandbag stop?
The flood of cocaine going into these clowns' noses. That's about it.
Wonderful. I'm gonna give this a 1.94. I don't think it was redeeming at all, and
You undercut me, you son of a
yeah,
bitch.
and my sandbags could stop the flood of beer that gets trapped in Binky's straw when you put your finger over the top of it and then pull it out of the glass and then let it go.
Fucking hell. Tom Kenny, I salute you there for drinking beer through a straw for probably more than one take.
Oh, there's nothing to this film. Sorry, guys.
There really isn't, like, genuinely nothing happens. Like, I've struggled to talk about this for 45 minutes.
Should we just end it?
I feel like we should, but, like, fuck me. Alright. What have we got? Wait, what have we got coming up next week? Next week we've got Coneheads. Starring Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd podcast. There we go. It comes.
There we fucking
comes
go.
Full circle.
It's come full circle. Nice.
Yeah, so next week is Coneheads, starring Dan Aykroyd, and I think it's another nothing movie.
I don't know. I've actually heard of this movie before. I've heard of Coneheads, which is a start.
Yeah, that's true. But a couple of weeks we got Happy Gilmore coming.
We do have Happy Gilmore coming up, which might just save everything.
Imagine we watched Happy Gilmore and it was a nothing movie as well.
I think if we trash Happy Gilmore, no one's ever going to listen ever again.
No, I completely agree. But yeah, next week is Coneheads, starring Dan Aykroyd and Adam Sandler. But yeah, let's just end it, Matt.
Fucking...
I'm done.
Thanks, everybody, for listening this week. If you've made it this far, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not very far to come, but we did not talk about a lot this week.
Today's a short episode. Follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Sandlerous Pod. Like and rate our podcast 5 stars on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, but let us know in the comments what you actually think. And if you want to get in contact with us, send us an email at sandlerouspod@gmail.com. Have I missed something?
Peace out, everybody.
Yeah. I don't think I have. Right, yeah. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Jesus fucking Christ.